Hello, I'm Malcolm Grahamwood, and I'm here for my executive interview on Core London. And delighted to say my guest today is Peter Levine, who is the chairman of Molecular Energies. Peter, welcome. It's good to see you back again.
Thank you. Thanks, Malky. Good to see you.
This partly started because I need to know more about molecular, and wanted to do was to sort of catch up with all the things that have come through molecular. So I wondered if you could just give us an overview of molecular, and then we'll take it on and do all the interesting bits like atom and the greenhouse and so on, if that's okay with you.
Thanks, Malky. Yeah, I mean, the first thing to notice is that our market cap is a lowly 4 million. More, I'm sure you'll ask me about that a bit later, and more I will say. But what's Molecular got? Well, we've got a significant investment in Atom PLC. Atom is the first and only green fertilizer production company on the London Stock Exchange. It's got very significant projects in South America and scalable projects. The first one is a $500 million project. We've got a significant shareholding in that company. We spun it out from Molecular. So that's the first company, and I'm sure you may ask more questions on that. The next is Greenhouse Capital, which is in the process of spinning out. Again, an independent company, just like Atom, led by an independent CEO. And that is a collection of very, very interesting income generative companies and it's going to be, it is spinning out in relation to the green sphere, as it were. It's not creating fuel or hydrogen itself, but we've got a widespread from dual fuel technology for vehicles and for barges, back to biochar, back to mixed diesel generator and hydrogen generators and such like. So it's a very interesting project, very interesting companies coming there. And then we've also got income coming from the sale of the Argentine subsidiary that we had last year. And that is an income flowing in, and that's now flowing in from Argentina every month. There's money coming in, which is really good. And what we're very pleased about is since the new president took power in Argentina, the promise of flow of funds back to the UK for repayment of intercompany debt is continuing. We've got other interesting projects within Molecular. SAF, synthetic aviation fuel, is one of these projects. And we've also got the exploration well in Paraguay, which we've already stated is not something which we invite investors to come in on, because it's an entirely a speculative one. It's very high risk. So what we've stated quite clearly is, because of the relatively low chance of success at 17%, if you're going to come in on this into Molecular, don't come in because of that. So what we're wanting people to focus on is the investment assets that we've got, the significant ownership in what is Atom, which is a very exciting company, green fertilizer company. Will be the first industrial scale green fertilizer production company in the world, being able not only to service South America, but also Europe as well. And of course, what we've said is in relation to Greenhouse and Greenhouse Capital Group, PLC. And that gives an indication of where we're heading in terms of that particular spin out of the group, as well as the money to keep the lights on, to pay the G&A coming from Argentina. And there's 13 million of that going to be coming in due course, we expect, as well as, of course, the other energy potential investments and businesses that we're going to be putting in to Molecular in the future. So it's all within a 4 million market cap company.
Well, I mean, it's peculiar because I mean, I don't know whether you think the holding in Atom is going to be a significant amount of that. But you've spun, with some of that out already. You've got plans to do that again, or are you going to keep your hold? You've got 18% of that, haven't you, within the group?
18 or 19%, I can't don't know the exact figure. It's between 18 and 19%, correct? And that had a market cap before the share price started to go down of 30 million, 35 million sterling.
Yeah.
It's now about 21 million. But obviously, people are waiting for certain significant factors. We've already said we're looking at in negotiation in terms of key offtake agreements and such like. We're looking for FID later this year. And those are significant milestones, and they will trigger significant value factors in terms of making people realize the true significant value of this, what is a unique company. As I stress, it is the only company on the London Stock Exchange which is producing green fertilizer. There aren't many companies like this in the world, but certainly we're the largest in terms of potential. We've got a number of projects, 2 in Paraguay, 1 in Costa Rica, 1 a bit further behind in Iceland. But certainly, it's got very significant potential. And as I said to you, the market seems to be overlooking that. Greenhouse itself has got significant value. So, yeah.
So I mean, and you recently did actually do a small raise in molecular a little while ago, but from what I can see, it was more bits and pieces for ongoing processes, not for the key bits of the future where we're trying to identify where the value is. When we first started talking, I said that one of the reasons I wanted to look at it was that I thought there was significant value. You had just been talking about green fertilizer. I mean, the most important thing about some of these things is the ability to find a marketplace, and this is you've got yourself a proper marketplace for this and reasonable pricing and so on, haven't you? Which can't be the same for a lot of the other green hydrogen applications, but very much are for fertilizer. Yeah.
Atom is way ahead of it, and any potential rivalries, even though there aren't any at this moment in time. And yes, we have a market. We're in discussions with 4 extremely reputable off-takers, household names, and we're choosing between them. We anticipate that certain developments will occur in the not too distant future in relation to this. We can't give a timescale, but there is a dynamics and things are moving progressively. We're keeping the market informed on this. We're also keeping the market informed on FID. We've had significant interest in the debt package for what is the first effectively 500 million project. And the equity, we're already speaking to significant equity players at the project level. So there is a significant dynamic on this. Frankly, we take the view that if it would be on the American exchange or Canadian exchange, this company Atom, which of course is on AIM, will be significantly more valuable for one reason or another, whether it's the London malaise or depression in London market. And it's not just me who says this, that it's valued at what it is. But our job isn't necessarily to complain about that. Our job as directors is to deliver value for it, and then we take a view. Yes, we're disappointed as to the value. Yes, we're disappointed as to how the market values it, but we can't keep going on about it. We've got to continue with our responsibility to make the most of Atom, to demonstrate it and keep demonstrating it whilst ever we're a public company. And the same applies for molecular. You mentioned the molecular raise. Yeah, that was sad. But seriously, it was seriously sad. To look at how the market treats or feels about molecular. And at the end of the day, people have got to be careful what they wish for. And I mean that really directly. The molecule, some of the parts, is worth far more than its market cap. But the market values it at that, then the market values it. Our only responsibility is to demonstrate that. We've got more things in the pipeline, but we can only do what we can do. We know that molecular has delivered significant disappointments in the past, and no more disappointment than myself from a financial point of view. But we keep soldiering on. but there is a limit to how much we can, should we say, in the interest of our shareholders, we will continue on that. We're trying to do now, and with you as well, Malcy. I mean, you've been a great supporter of us in the past, is to articulate what we have and to say to the market, well, there we are. We pass the ball to you. Do with it what you want, and then we'll react accordingly, depending upon your reaction.
So if the Tom was ever to move into, say, the US markets, like you suggest, in the past you said that greenhouse capital, which you own 75% of, if I'm right in that one.
Molecular currently on 75% of
yeah. And you've got plans to list that one on AIM sometime this year, probably. So it's obviously its businesses, perhaps not the sort of ones that the Americans might like as much, but can you do a little more detail on onto the businesses? I mean, when I had another look through it over the last few days, I mean, the fuel business looked very interesting, and people would talk about carbon credits all the time. Black carbon removal in the detail looked to be absolutely fascinating. So is there any those businesses in there that you'd like to pull out and tell us a bit more about, if you've got a few minutes?
Yeah, there's a common thread relating to all those businesses in Greenhouse, in that they are all benefiting from each other's business and also benefiting from the business generally of not only Atom, but my other businesses which are privately held. So, for example, you mentioned biochar. Biochar is effectively using biomass, putting it using pyrolysis, and creating carbon removing credits, because biomass itself is degradable, and by that degradation, carbon's released to the atmosphere. By effectively putting it through the pyrolysis process, what you are effectively doing is locking that into sort of like super charcoal, or it's also called black gold colloquially. And it can be used for agriculture, it can be used for asphalt, it can be used in cement processes as well. So you're locking in this carbon. So what it does is two things. You're actually creating a product, a biochar product, but you're also creating carbon removal credits. And carbon removal credits, unlike the ones which are open to abuse, you must have come across the forestry carbon credits and such like, which are significantly open to abuse. Liverpool Football Club became a cropper of those some time ago. Carbon removal credits are the most valuable you can get. It is removing carbon from the atmosphere, which is what we are doing by biochar. And the most important thing on biochar, if you have a business, three things. Number one, your feedstock. Where do you get your biomass from? Number two, your kit, your technology. And number three, your offtake market. And all of those things are golden threads to Greenhouse. And all Greenhouse businesses, we aim to have feedstock, we aim to have technology, and we aim to have the offtake. And with biochar, we've got that. South America is a significant market for biomass. We've got the agreements for biomass in terms of supply. The kit we've developed working with technology providers. So it's basically our own kit, which we're looking to actually manufacture for the local markets under license, under our own brand. And then in terms of offtake, well, we have offtake agreements in order to use it. And the carbon credits generated, that will be utilized by another of the companies in Greenhouse called Atom 6. And those carbon credits will be procured for Atom 6 for its customers. Because Atom 6 effectively is a company which is the sustainability partner for companies that don't have their own sustainability departments. We're not talking here about Microsoft and Apple and Intel, and Amazon, which have their own sustainability departments. They effectively own their own entities which create carbon credits for themselves. We're talking about SMEs or even larger companies that have to go through the Scope 1, Scope 2, and even Scope 3 process, but don't have the wherewithal or the knowledge to be able to obtain the right carbon credits. And that's where Atom comes in, because it's got the ability to source carbon credits through its partners, and because it's also benefiting from carbon credits generated within the group and related companies, it can actually procure those for the clients. And then that brings us on to dual fuel. So dual fuel is a company which we've got our own technology, proprietary technology. We've run it through test cells, and that effectively means that we can mix hydrogen and diesel in existing vehicles. The whole point about why haven't hydrogen vehicles caught on? Number one, rarity. Number two, very high cost. Number three, the fleet's got to be replaced. And number four, as importantly, you need infrastructure, filling stations. And you'll see that a lot of companies are actually moving away from that because they realize that hydrogen vehicles ain't going to happen for a very long time. But everyone who is a supplier to large international companies are under pressure from the supply chain to decarbonize, particularly decarbonize transport. And what dual fuel is doing is actually to be able to decarbonize partly this by retrofitting existing vehicles with technology cheaply and quickly, and therefore the vehicles can run on a mixture of diesel or hydrogen or just diesel alone, which means you don't need the big infrastructure of filling stations across many roads or streets. You actually need them in the depots where they are. So it fulfills the need of doing that. And at the same time, carbon credits. So you've got Atom 6 coming on board, generating with the carbon credits and such like, the benefits of those coming from the customers. So it's an all-round service as well as advisory. So each one is interlinked with the other, which is really important. And there are other companies in greenhouse, and it's not simply Paraguay. This is South America, and I think it's very easy to ignore South America and Europe. But frankly, look at the state of Europe. South America is a massive, growing economy, very fertile for exactly what we're doing. And because we've got presence there, whether it's through our private companies or whether it's our public companies, because we've got infrastructure there as well, then we're able to capitalize on it like not many other European companies. We're there. We know the system, we know the infrastructure, and we're able to benefit from it.
Well, that's amazing. I mean, really, properly amazing. I can't see how, your 75% of greenhouse capital with all those businesses inside it. It's beginning to come back to me again now. What you were saying about the market cap of the group. With those businesses inside it, with opportunities to either sell more or raise or just get a quote on the market where a justifiable price for a huge chunk of this company is could be delivered.
Myopic is the only word I can use.
So once that the molecular shareholders will benefit from such a thing, do you see how do you see this company? I wouldn't say ending up, because it could be. I mean, you could have a number of holdings in several of these companies still and run it, like that, or are you still saying, right, actually what we're doing is at the other end of the chain, we're still bringing in loads more companies all the time, and you're going to be, one of these incubators or development companies from the smaller end? Is it always going to be like that, or are you thinking of a showpiece, money event for saying thank you very much and we'll sell it all and close it down?
We won't sell it. We won't sell it because it's worth far more than the market cap, and people use the market cap as a barometer. And that's the problem that we face. that people look at our market cap, and based on the market cap, they don't even look at enterprise value. So we speak to one or two funds, and they just say, "Oh, your market cap's 4 million." They look at the enterprise value, look at what we've got, and that's the difficulties we face. And I think it's not just us, a number of companies in the London stock market, which is faced with that conundrum as well. Atom will go from strength to strength. Absolutely. Greenhouse will go from strength to strength. As independent companies, both with excellent CEOs. Molecular itself, as a company, will go from strength to strength. Now, whether Molecular itself will go from strength to strength within the public company sphere, that's up to investors.
Yeah.
What they wish for, and we will react. We're obviously got to make decisions during the course of this year, because one doesn't want to knock one's head against a brick wall. Let's demonstrate that value. Let's see where it goes, and then let's take a view.
Thank you. Have I missed anything? Is there anything that I've missed, or because I've given you sort of just let you get off and run through, and so some of my questions haven't been appropriate, and I didn't want to go back to the old stuff. And I guess that it's very revealing when you say that these businesses are going to continue to deliver significant value events for the shareholders, which I can see happening. And my guess is that the way to do it with my last question is as always, is I always say, where do you see the company in 12 to 18 months' time? And normally it means, various bits and pieces. The CEO will say, "Oh, this is what we've been saying," and everything else. This could be more revealing if you tell me what really is going to happen in 12 to 18 months' time, Peter. How would you see it? Yeah.
I'm not going to say that, Marky. I've been around too much to give forecast. I can tell you the direction that Atom is going. I can tell you the direction that Greenhouse is going, and Molecular owns both of those. I can tell you that money will continue coming in now from Argentina, which has actually turned an absolute corner, and where the Argentine business can actually help Molecular in various things, which it will do. But as to where Molecular goes, let's see how the market treats us.
Watch this space. Yeah, watch this space. Peter, it's been very kind of you to take time out today to have another chat with me, and I'd like to thank you for that. And I'm convinced that you're in the box seats on these businesses that you're developing. So fantastic news for that. So thank you for that, Peter. And so just finally, my name is Malcolm Granwood. I've been on my executive interview with the chairman of Molecular Energies, Peter Levine, and it's been delightful to see him, and see you all next time. Thank you very much for watching. Bye now.